If we're talking about legal analysis on cable news, it's close to impossible not to mention Andrew Napolitano. He was a regular face on Fox News, appearing almost every night, until one day, he wasn't there anymore. It may not sound believable to you, but the retired jurist's exit from Fox News wasn't just a one-time event. It was a series of conflicting ideas between a libertarian judge and an ever-changing media giant. In today's video, we're finally unveiling the real reason Andrew Napolitano is out at Fox News, detailing the issues, internal politics, and what really happened behind the scenes. Finally, here is the full story. Andrew Peter Napolitano, aka The Judge, is a retired jurist and columnist, known for his libertarian take and criticism of former U.S. presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump. He also served as the youngest judge at the New Jersey Superior Court from 1987 to 1995, presiding over 160 jury trials during his tenure. On top of that, he has made over 14,500 media appearances, spending 24 years at Fox News. Currently, Napolitano has his hands full hosting the YouTube show and podcast, Judging Freedom. 2021 was a pretty tumultuous year for Andrew Napolitano. After all, this was the year when he suffered a complaint that led to his termination at Fox News. On August 2, 2021, 27-year-old John Fawcett, a Fox News associate, filed a complaint against Napolitano, alleging the jurist's misconduct to Fox News' HR department, claiming that the latter did not take action against him. After news of the allegations broke out, Fox News claimed that they immediately investigated the claims and addressed the matter with both parties. Hence, this explains the legal analyst's absence from the cable news channel for the next several months. The plaintiff, John Fawcett, detailed in the complaint that when he encountered Andrew Napolitano at the headquarters of Fox News, the latter made suggestive comments and touched his arm. After the incident, Fawcett quickly shared with his colleagues what just transpired, but rather than offering support, they immediately started laughing. According to their claims, Judge Napolitano harassing younger men at the office was nothing new. What's more, something similar also happened to the plaintiff's co-worker. As a junior and fairly new at his workplace, Fawcett decided not to report the incident for fear of jeopardizing his career at the network. At the time, Fawcett was still working under Lou Dobbs, and when the latter relayed what happened to the chief human resources officer at Fox Corp, Kevin Lord, Lord was dismissive of the incident. John Fawcett started work at Fox News as a production assistant for Lou Dobbs. However, it was a pretty short stint since Dobbs' show was canceled, so Fawcett then found work as an associate producer in Larry Kudlow's show. Speaking of Kudlow, Fawcett also raised allegations against him, claiming that the broadcaster has used ethnic slurs and made inappropriate comments about women in front of multiple staff members. On top of that, Fawcett also claimed that Kudlow blocked a congressman from appearing as a guest on his program because of the congressman's race. John Fawcett is a pretty gutsy guy, to say the least, because he didn't only come after these Napolitano and Kudlow, he also went after Fox News' then senior producer at the time, Stephanie Freeman. To Freeman, Fawcett alleged that she had repeatedly discriminated against male staff who work for Kudlow, and according to Fawcett's complaint, Freeman was trying to force the unnamed staff to resign or face termination. Ever since the allegations against Andrew Napolitano reached mainstream media, Fox News was quick to do damage control and sacked the jurist almost immediately. The network and Judge Napolitano have since parted ways, Fox News said in a statement following the ordeal. We take allegations of misconduct seriously, are committed to providing a safe, transparent, and collaborative workplace environment for all our employees, and took immediate, appropriate action. As for the other complaints filed by Fawcett, Fox News stated that those claims are completely baseless and nothing more than a desperate attempt at a payday. Additionally, the cable news channel has also expressed its intent on defending the matter vigorously in court. Fast forward a few months, and John Fawcett's claim of Andrew Napolitano's advances toward him was dismissed in 2022. In February 2022, the presiding judge dismissed the claim, citing a few reasons. For one, Napolitano was not the plaintiff's supervisor, and two, the incident did not meet the legal definition of pervasive harassment. Napolitano may have ultimately won the case, but the damage was already done. As a result, Fox News had to fire him permanently under their post-O'Reilly zero-tolerance policy. Although his abrupt exit from Fox News was a shock, it's important to know that this wasn't Napolitano's first rodeo and penalty for doing something untoward. In fact, a year before Fawcett's complaint, Andrew Napolitano also suffered a somewhat similar incident. Back in September 2020, the media world was left reeling after reports flooded in of a South Carolina man who had filed a whopping $10 million lawsuit against Fox News' esteemed judge, Andrew Napolitano. The lawsuit detailed how the former New Jersey Superior Court judge forcibly sodomized and assaulted the man back in the 80s, when the man was just a 20-year-old criminal defendant. Furthermore, he claims Napolitano used his power to reduce the man's sentence to keep him quiet about the whole matter. To add, the lawsuit even alleged how Napolitano made a bold move and reached out to local authorities in an attempt to silence the plaintiff and stop him from filing the lawsuit. Plaintiff had made threats of violence against him, according to the complaint. These claims were outright fabrications. The plaintiff never made any threats whatsoever of any kind. Charles Corbishley, an owner of a cleaning services company, filed the lawsuit against Andrew Napolitano in early September 2020. In the said lawsuit, he also demanded not only a jury trial, but also compensation totaling $10 million. As one of the familiar faces on the cable news channel, of course, this issue also tarnished the reputation of Fox News. Hence, they were quick to issue a statement that the judge already sent word to them, assuring Fox News in the strongest possible terms that the allegations are false and he would fight them in court. "These accusations are completely false, full stop," Napolitano said in a statement through his lawyer Tom Clare. "I have never done anything like what the accuser describes at any time to anyone for any reason. I have never had any personal relationship or inappropriate contact or communication of any kind with the man making this accusation. Each and every one of his claims against me is pure fiction." Even Clare himself deemed the lawsuit outrageous and shared how Napolitano is open to a full investigation and how Napolitano reported Corbishley's threatened action to federal law enforcement. At the time of Napolitano's statement, his attorney also added that Corbishley is being monitored by the local police, given his violent past and threats to harm Napolitano, ensuring the Fox News media personality's safety. Corbishley's alleged complaint detailed how, back then, he was facing arson charges stemming from a 3-count indictment in November 1987. Another key figure in the story is Robert A. Hollis, a crooked lawyer and Corbishley's defense attorney, who urged him to take a plea deal without a plea agreement, instructing the latter to show up at the judge's house in Hackensaw. The presiding judge of his case was Napolitano, who was also said to be Hollis's good friend. Simply put, Hollis instructed him to go there under the premise of doing labor for the judge, showing himself in a favorable light. He even had a snow shovel with him, thinking that that's exactly what he would be doing at Hackensaw. Once he reached Napolitano's home, Corbishley greeted the judge, informing him that he was there to shovel snow. The judge then instructed him to shovel the driveway, which he found out, given how the driveway already had been shoveled, and that there did not appear to be any heavy snow around the house that needed shoveling. A moment later, Napolitano headed back inside, put on a coat, and asked Corbishley to come to the side to have a little talk. Here, the judge mentioned that Corbishley could be going away for a long time. From there, he detailed how Napolitano put his hand on his shoulder, forcing the younger man to his knees. From here, the judge assaulted Corbishley, and after he was done, the young man took off crying and ran away. He feared for what would happen to him if he resisted or fought back from the judge back then, hence, he did nothing. What's more, the lawsuit also alleges that his defense attorney, Hollis, was running a national prostitution ring at the time, which Corbishley was unaware of. Furthermore, 2 days after the alleged assault, Hollis insinuated to his client that he knew what had happened between him and the judge. As per Hollis's instruction, Corbishley took a plea deal to all 3 charges, and Napolitano gave him a remarkably lenient sentence. Instead of receiving a sentence that would put him behind bars for years, he received a 5-year probation with 150 hours of community service. Keep in mind that Corbishley is charged with arson, burglary of a motor vehicle, and aggravated arson, as well as Corbishley's prior juvenile arson charge. In contrast, Corbishley's co-defendant in the case, Edward Weedo, was sentenced to several years in prison under the same 3 charges and for committing the exact same crime as Corbishley. Napolitano's lawyer also added that the plaintiff is a criminal with a 25-year-long record. Some of the crimes Corbishley committed, aside from the aforementioned, include battery, unlawful weapons possession, possession of stolen property, credit card fraud, and distribution. It should be of grave concern to all judges and the other dedicated public officials who administer our criminal justice system that, decades after a routine criminal case, a former criminal defendant can, with no evidence, threaten to damage reputations and careers with these kinds of false and incendiary allegations, Claire said. To this day, the lawsuit has yet to be resolved, and the repercussions of such allegations caused Napolitano to be sidelined from TV for several months, given how he was the top analyst back then. If you think this allegation is shocking enough, wait until what happened that same month. Charles Corbishley filed his lawsuit against Andrew Napolitano. In light of the ongoing allegation against Andrew Napolitano back then, a certain James Kruzelnick added more fuel to the fire when he also stepped forward, claiming the judge tried to take advantage of him and offer legal counsel in exchange for having sex. In his claim, Kruzelnick said he met Napolitano back in 2014 while he was waiting tables at a Sussex County restaurant. The judge allegedly followed him into the restaurant's bathroom, where the former groped him and told him, "You are just so hot." Of course, Tom Clare was quick to step up and defend his client, saying the latest claim was false and a copycat lawsuit filed by the same legal team working with Corbishley. Similar to Corbishley, Napolitano was also 20 years older than Kruzelnick when he was repeatedly harassed. Furthermore, Kruzelnick added that the judge forced him into a bizarre act, which involved spanking, when he visited Napolitano's home in September 2015. There was a time when Kruzelnick also faced severe bashing for being a homosexual at work, so he sought legal counsel from the judge in November 2015. Here, he visited Napolitano's home again, and the latter allegedly told Kruzelnick, "If you do things for me, I'll do things for you." Their next and final encounter happened years later, in August 2017, when the judge invited Kruzelnick to his farm to go swimming. Here, Kruzelnick alleged in the lawsuit that Napolitano tried to rape him while he was changing in the bedroom. Furthermore, Napolitano was not alone. There were several unnamed individuals who also attempted to do so. Mr. Kruzelnick has suffered physical and emotional distress because of Judge Napolitano's repulsive actions. It is also disturbing that Mr. Kruzelnick was reluctant to come forward because he felt, as a gay man, no one would believe him. John Norensberg, Kruzelnick's lawyer, said in a statement announcing the lawsuit. Similar to Corbishley's, Kruzelnick's lawsuit against the judge is still active, which has permanently affected his standing at Fox News, which eventually led to his termination. Looking at all these allegations, these were sure recipes to get Napolitano off Fox News for good. But little did he know, he was being closely monitored by the higher-ups at Fox News, starting from when he did this. In March 2017, Andrew Napolitano caused a major international diplomatic stir when he contended that Obama wiretapped Trump during the 2016 elections. Looking back, this may have also signaled the friction between Napolitano and Fox News, which also led to his first suspension at work. During an appearance at Fox and Friends, Napolitano made a brazen declaration that Obama used the outside chain of command, not the FBI, CIA, or NSA, to surveil Trump. To be specific, he said GCHQ, the UK's equivalent of the NSA, monitored Trump. Through them, Obama was able to avoid leaving American footprints on the surveillance. Of course, the bold claim escalated pretty quickly, where it only took a mere second to reach the White House. Sean Spicer, the then press secretary, cited Napolitano's claims from the White House podium to justify Trump's earlier tweets, claiming he had been wiretapped. Being looped in on such a controversial issue, of course, outraged the UK, which called such claims nonsense and utterly ridiculous. Napolitano received an onslaught of backlash, and since he was unable to verify his sources, Fox News decided to suspend him for almost 2 weeks, awaiting for the issue to die down, and as a punishment for running his mouth without solid proof. As we all know, Napolitano eventually returned on air, but from there it was obvious that there was a shift in the relationship between the judge and the cable news network. He went from being Fox News's legal expert to a controversial figure whose reports needed strict monitoring and filtering under Fox's management. Ever since his fall from grace at Fox News, the legal analyst has turned to another platform to voice his opinions: YouTube. In July 2022, Napolitano launched his own YouTube channel, signaling the start of his run as an independent voice of libertarian legal commentary. On his first video alone, he garnered a staggering 467,000 views, and as of January 2026, he boasts 667,000 subscribers. Napolitano has a pretty wide reach, and thanks to his daily streams, he has become one of the most trusted icons when it comes to right-leaning views. Oftentimes, his content also overlaps with the audiences of Piers Morgan and Tucker Carlson. Suffice it to say, fans of Napolitano are pleased to see him still active in media, despite his exit from Fox News. At least with his show, Judging Freedom, he has the liberty to express his insights without affecting any other parties or networks. Hard-hitting legal political news from a man who knows and respects the Constitution and the importance of defending individual freedoms, Napolitano said of his show. From the perspective that government is the negation of liberty and the individual is greater than the state, he puts his impressive background and legal analysis in real time, providing critiques over presidential war powers, surveillance overreach, and even First Amendment concerns, among many others, in his channel. Napolitano's shift to YouTube has given him autonomy over everything. He no longer has to filter his thoughts, delivering unscripted commentary that tackles his audience's concerns directly. In hindsight, his getting kicked out of Fox News is actually a blessing in disguise, because he's no longer bound by the newsroom's editorial filter. If anything, his booming channel is also an indicator of the rise of independently owned platforms. His is a success story that, as long as you have the credentials, legal expertise, and a definitive personal brand, you can make a comeback and establish your relevance in media. Now, more than ever, we've seen Andrew Napolitano double down on the same libertarian principles he is known for, which ironically made him a polarizing figure on Fox News. Andrew Napolitano's fall from grace is a clear example that being involved in controversies could ruin one's career. It could also be the start of a liberating and autonomous run of their own legacy. With no one to hold him back, he has continued to voice criticism against Donald Trump and the American system in general, thanks to Judging Freedom. "I have known Trump personally since 1986, Napolitano told Morgan County, USA. "He interviewed me twice for the Supreme Court of the United States, so that will show you the level of interaction that we have had. I did not make Fox management happy when I criticized some of the things he did during his first term, and when I said that there was an articulable legal basis for both of his impeachments." Additionally, Napolitano said he hasn't voted for a Republican since he voted for Ronald Reagan in 1984 because he doesn't trust big government. The judge does not condone the expenditure of $1 trillion for the Defense Department to maintain 750 foreign military installations in 80 countries, which is why he has been harshly critical of Trump. "I have not hesitated to be harshly critical of him, from his bizarre interpretation of the 14th Amendment to his dispatching of masked men to arrest people in the streets and incarcerate them without due process and deport them without hearings, to bombing Iran, to funding these wars. All of this behavior is not only contrary to what he promised, but is profoundly unconstitutional, and in my view is a step, many steps, toward authoritarianism."